All right, old school Texas Tech. We are going to give our final Texas Tech predictions for the season. We've done a couple of these kind of warming up, but we've had more time to research the teams and learn more about our team in the offseason. It's very difficult to do this with the transfer portal. Anybody who thinks they've got it down to an exact science, or I think they're kidding themselves. It's pretty hard with especially with some of the teams that have had just enormous turnover of their rosters. But we're gonna give it our best shot. So Jordan, I'm gonna let you start off. August 31st, Saturday, a long-awaited game for a lot of us. Abilene Christian in Lubbock.
Yeah, I mean, this is classic tune-up game for us. I mean, I know our former defensive coordinator, and I'm drawing a blank on his name because I'm getting older.
Patterson.
That's right. Okay, Patterson. He's the head coach there. I got a couple buddies here in the Metroplex that went to Abilene Christian. I've been talking smack this week, going, "Hey, wonder who's going to win." I'm really kind of curious, you know. And but I mean, they don't have the athletes to keep up with us. It's not going to be close. It shouldn't be.
I would love to see both running backs end up with like 100 yards rushing and just keep the playbook like really limited. That would be awesome, but we'll see what happens. I have read do have a history of playing some more prestigious programs pretty well in the past, but we'll see what happens. The next week it's another. We've already played in one Mike Leach Bowl, but we're playing another Mike Leach Bowl at Pullman on September 7th.
At Pullman, okay, yeah. I mean, I still think we're going to win this game. I do.
Okay.
They're,
And
aren't they still conference lists? Washington State.
they're actually, I think the Pac two actually still formally exists, but that stuff gets so confusing, and they've got a scheduling agreement with the Mountain West, so they play a lot of both the Oregon State and Washington State play a bunch of Mountain West teams.
Oh boy.
All right, so the next week we play a team from my hometown that we actually, if the last data that I saw on this is correct, we actually have a 4-4 record against the University of North Texas. So do you
Uh,
think we could break the tie on September 14th?
yeah, I think it'll be a little bit closer than we want it to be. Eric Morris is leading that team. And I actually went to one of the games, North Texas last year, and they showed a lot of fight against a team that was quite a bit better than them. And they came back and then lost at the end. But I saw some grit there. I think it'll be closer than we want it to be because North Texas always gives us fits.
They do, they do. They're definitely a thorn in our side for sure. All right. Then the next week, September 21st, we've got Arizona State in Lubbock.
We're gonna win that one.
All right. Then the next week, we've got a very favorable schedule beginning of the season. September 28th at home against Cincinnati.
I think we're gonna win that one too. Cincinnati's not doing that well. Again, it's a new year. Maybe they'll be better, but Luke Fickle, I've said that before. He left. He was an excellent coach, and that's it. I don't think that they're. I think their personnel is down. But like you said, they could have added 48 guys in the transfer portal and paid them money. Who knows?
Yeah, I've seen some Cincinnati fans that definitely think we're not just us, but a lot of people are underestimating them. But we'll see what happens soon enough. So then October 5th, we go on the road at Arizona.
That's the one that I think is going to be a problem for us. I know their coach left and he went and took over, I think, Washington, and he seems like the real deal. But that quarterback is pretty good. They're still going to kind of run like a spread, throw the ball all over the yard type deal. I think that one's going to be a problem for us. And I look at some of the ways, some of the games that we've played on the road in recent years, and it's concerning. So
Yeah.
I do think Arizona will be a loss for us. Hopefully
All
not,
right. All
but
right.
being realistic.
Then we have a bye, and then we get Baylor at home.
I think we're going to continue our recent success over Baylor. There's nothing that they have that scares me in the slightest. So I think we will continue our success against them. One thing I'll say is I kind of missed that game not being in the Metroplex. I liked being able to slip away every other year or so to watch it, you know?
I liked it, but we didn't fare very well. We did better when it was we did better with I think with playing. Well, actually, the last 2 years the visiting teams won, but yeah, I don't know. Anyway, at the next week's at TCU.
I think we'll still win. It's gonna be a de facto home game for us. I've been to that stadium before, and there will be because it's practically in my backyard, about a 35-mile drive one way. But I will tell you, there will be just as much red as purple, if not more, in their stadium on that day.
Yeah, I know they're doing. I think they're doing some deal where you have to buy like multiple tickets for that game, so they're trying to keep the Tech fans from. But then I think what happens is the TC fans just sell them off to the sell them off to the Tech fans. All right, and then November 2nd we go on the road. It's going to probably be very cold, and we play Iowa State in Ames.
That's going to be a problem for us. They usually are a thorn in our side too. I've watched quite a few Iowa State versus Texas Tech games over my long life, and yeah, we've been on the receiving end of some beatings from them. And one thing that seems to be constant with them is pretty salty defense. I think the last time we played them there, we won like 14-12, didn't we?
Yeah, Joey McGuire's first year. That was a great game.
But I'm gonna say I think Iowa State gets us. But I will say Joey McGuire, and I've said this before, and he seems to have this trend, and maybe it's not fair to say this yet, but this is a good thing that I'm about to say. But it's the last 4 or 5 games of the year, we seem to be getting better versus previous regimes where it seemed like we started out fine when the teams were easier and then fell off the map.
Definitely, definitely. That does seem to be the trend. If it continues this year, that could get very interesting because we have, the first half of the the schedule's not too difficult. So if we get hot at the end,
Yep.
it could get pretty exciting. So November 9th, we've got Coach Sanders. We've got Colorado coming to town November 9th to Lubbock.
We're winning that game. It's going to be a classic track meet, and there's going to be some points scored, but that place is going to be rowdy, and we're going to have a good record, and we're going to nip them. It might be 45-38. It might be 45-42. Who knows? Hell, it may even resemble the Mahomes versus Mayfield, of that game.
Yeah,
Both had like 1,500 yards combined passing or whatever it was. I
yeah.
don't think
Hopefully, we're
it
on the
won't be
winning side though this time.
it won't be like that because the defenses I think will be better than what was shown in that game. But I think it'll be a high scoring. You might even look at it and think well, hey, basketball season started today if you didn't look. Yeah.
All right, then we have a bye, and then on November 23rd, we go up to Stillwater and play Oklahoma State.
Stillwater. Okay, got it. I am going to say that it's a road game. Oklahoma State always plays us tough. There was a time there where we lost quite a few in a row to them. I think, unfortunately, they'll probably nip us in Stillwater. I do.
Okay. All right, and then November 30th. This is going to be an interesting matchup, and I've definitely seen a lot of talk about this on the internet. West Virginia is our last game, and it's in Lubbock. They haven't beaten us in Lubbock in a long time.
They rarely ever beat us, and last year felt like kind of a fluke to me on the road. And I think we're going to be pretty angry from what happened in the game a year ago. Wasn't there
Yeah.
some, I'm trying to remember. Wasn't
They
there
knocked
some,
out. They knocked out. Basically knocked out. They knocked out Tyler Shuck, and then they're the ones who. That's when the Baron Morton injury problem started. Was that game? They basically knocked out both of our quarterbacks. I mean, he finished the game, I believe. Yeah, he finished the game, but he was really hurt. Baron Morton was.
that's what it was. I seem to remember there was a pretty big blown call at the end that was against us too. Like it was,
Yeah,
we were about to score a touchdown. I think we ended up losing by 7 points or 10 points or something. I don't remember exactly, but it
it was
felt like,
I think it was a touchdown. I'd have to look it up. I think it was a touchdown.
okay.
I think it
Red,
was like 21-14. That's what
Something
I
like
figured.
that. It was close, but I remember West Virginia led pretty much the entire game, and it was earlier in the season too, when we started out a little bit slower. But yeah, I think we're gonna lose 3 games personally. That's my thought. So
So
basically,
you have losses against Oklahoma State, Iowa State, and Arizona.
basically all on the road too. I think
Okay.
there's a very good shot of us going undefeated at home and just losing 3 road games. I truly believe that.
All right. So I'm going to take a crack at it. Abilene Christian's going to be a win at Washington State. I believe this is going to be a win. My confidence in this game is purely from the fact that I believe we're going to have a very good running game this year, and that's going to be the difference on the road. But that's a tough game. That's definitely not a game we should take for granted. They're pretty good. UNT at home, I think we're going to win. I just think we're a better team. I think they've definitely got some struggles on. They had some struggles on defense last year. I don't know how much they're going to be able to fix that through the portal. Um, no, September 21st, Arizona State. It's a very mysterious team. They've had a lot of turnover. This is the coach's second year. I got Tech winning this game. Um, September 28th, Cincinnati at home. I think we win this game as well. October 5th, at Arizona. I think we're going to lose this game, but I think we could give them more of a fight than people expect. Baylor, especially coming off a bye at home in Lubbock, I think that's going to be a W. I feel like something's a little off with TCU, and I admit I'm not a huge TCU fan at all. But I sincerely think something's a little off with them, and I think we're going to beat them on the road in Fort Worth. November 2nd against Iowa State. I've gone back and forth on this game, and I'm going to go back again, and I'm going to say we're gonna lose this game on the road. And then November 9th, I've this is the just because we've been playing so good at the end of the year, and I agree with you, we're only going to have probably going to have 2 losses going into this game. So Jones Stadium could be kind of like the old days. It could get kind of wild, especially if it's a night game. So I'm going to go Tech, but it's going to be. I agree with you. It's going to be a real shootout. I don't think the bye is going to help us enough to beat Oklahoma State in Stillwater. I think that's a loss. And then the West Virginia game will be tough on November 30th, but just because getting better as the season progresses seems to be a trend with us. I think we'll get the win, but that's going to be a tough game. So we looks like you and I have been doing these together because we finally picked the exact same schedule.
So
So
here's my
let's go.
here's my question for you though: Is 9-3 good enough to go to the Big 12 title game? I guess it depends on everybody else's schedule too.
I guess if everybody just beats each other up, to me, probably we'd have to win. We'd probably have to get to 10 to have a shot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What do you think? Like, what is the most likely deviation? So we both picked the same outcome for all 12 games this time. What do you think is the most likely? If you had to flip 2 games, what do you think would be the 2 most likely? Like, if you had to say this one could be a loss and this one could be a win, what would you say is the most likely scenario?
Good question. Okay, so I'll go with the one that I picked that was a loss first that could be flipped as a win. I'll go ahead and say Oklahoma State because
Okay.
they do have Alan Bowman at quarterback. He's a
Yeah.
he's a commodity. Well, I don't use the word commodity, but we know who he is. That could be a win. So I'll flip that one from loss to win.
Okay.
And from the win to loss, I'll go ahead and say Colorado could be that one.
Okay. So I think there's a chance because we have also been known for slow starts under Joey McGuire a little bit. I could see us dropping that game up at Washington State. I could see us just not being able to pull it out, just not gelling quick enough. Maybe the defensive line struggles a little bit, or we struggle a little bit with some of the new guys on defense. So I could see that one flipping from a win to a loss. And then I think the because of the, yeah, I'm gonna agree with you on the other one. because of the way we've been finishing seasons out, it's in Oklahoma State's it's a pretty much a rivalry game in my opinion, especially with the new conference makeup. So I'm going to say the most likely loss that could flip to a win would be at Oklahoma State.
Yeah, I mean, I think I think we're both right in a lot of ways because we're not going to really know until the season starts because there's always teams that come out of nowhere. Then there's teams you think are going to be really good and they're not. Happens every year.
Right.
We'll tell you
Right.
the one team that I think is going to be pretty good is going to be Central Florida. I do. Gus Malzahn is he's a legit coach. So in a way, I'm
Yeah,
kind of not on the schedule right now because I think that would be a very difficult game for us.
yeah, they're a short-term problem and they're a long-term problem because that was a huge university.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of resources. They're in a really good, they're good in a really good area for recruiting. We've got a high-profile coach. That's I'm glad that we that they're a part of the Big 12 now, but they're going to be a challenge in the years ahead for sure.
Yep.
All right, so that is our final prediction. It's been fun. These have been fun, but the real football starts just in about 48 hours, right? A little less than 48
Yeah.
hours.
About that much time. Yeah.
All
Yep.
right. Great job.
All right.